turnarounds from fights, just to, again, capitalizing on their opponent's mistakes. Again, playing Ducks need to take those risks. It's very important that they try and take those risks to try and topple a Titan here in Fnatic. Whether or not it happens, though, is very much so on the rocks at the moment.
Yeah, Fnatic very great at damage control. Let's get ready for game number 3. Let's find out which battleground we are going to, as we've already finished up with the First Hollow and Tomb of the Spider Queen. Bans for the day, Battlefield of Eternity and Sky Temple will not be selected. So, where are we going here? Towers of Doom.
Sup, Todd. Sup, Todd. I think we've seen teams fall into very odd situations on this map.
Yeah.
Because of the way in which the meta has shaped up on this map and the control of the bottom lane specifically. I think we won't see that with these two teams. I think that they are two teams that have crafted their compositions well enough to always have some good range in it. I mean, when you've got Shrimpy and Quacknix on one side and you've got Chris and Sport Billy on the other side, there's going to be range in there. So I think they'll be okay in that regard at least.
Yeah, it all comes down to battle control, your map control, and of course making sure that you can deal with those forts that they have stolen from you. Yeah. So here we go. Towers of Doom. Let's begin our drafting phase. The first ban will be going to the playing Ducks. Do you continue to ban out Zeratul here?
I wouldn't mind it, yeah. It can cause a lot of chaos on this map. Not quite the will be Braxis holdout god tier chaos.
Gosh, that was such a good game. It's still surprising they lost that one. Still surprising.
I have nightmares about it to this day. Admittedly, it was only a week ago.
Fnatic to the right. Will they ban out the Tassadar? If they do not, there is always the draft phase of, okay, well, we give them Tassadar, but we take away Vala. However, Fnatic hasn't ran too much Vala in this tournament, so I expect them to get rid of Tassadar.
Yeah, I think they respect it too much. It's very powerful. Very, very powerful. So get rid of that. And also, it's not even that bad a map to get globes on. So technically, if you want to go for the level 1 talent, where you have to collect 40 globes or 20 globes for the actual half power of it, then it's still doable.
Well, playing Ducks will grab their ETC to the left here. Fnatic now gets to pick what they would like. I think Malfurion still becomes a slot that they take out. Do you value Dahaka more, though, here? Do you want your Falstad or do you want your Dahaka?
The thing that's good about Dahaka on this map, I feel, is that there's so many bushes that are so close to the shrine positions.
Yeah.
They're going to go Falstad because, again, it kind of gives them a bit more control overall. So that's fine indeed. But Dahaka is still very, very valuable.
Yeah, I think if this was any other team, I would argue they need Dahaka more on this battleground in particular, but with it being Quacknix on Falstad, it's just too hard to pass up. But that does give playing Ducks their strength here. They go ahead and move into Medivh and Dahaka, which is an exact mirror of what we saw on Cursed Hollow.
Yep. Appreciate the tweets as well with the hashtag HGC, and I want the hashtag popping off, because right now, if we get to see some more of that, some hashtag popping off, that was beautiful. Beautiful.
It's scary. Theoretically, do you ban out variants so they don't have Li-Ming? Or do you think they'll run Li-Ming anyways?
I think they'll run Li-Ming anyways, looking at this. I think you could see almost exactly the same draft on both sides, and it still fits this map. It still puts them in a good spot. Although, maybe change out the Jaina damage? They're going to ban the Valor again. This is identical.
This is identical, yeah, to what we saw in Cursed Hollow. So the ban was Tyrael for the playing Ducks.
I don't see a reason to not go that same direction.
He loses a little bit more value here, but...
True.
I think if you give up the Tyrael, you open up the Tyrael and the Greymane. The thing is, Fnatic has 2 strong comps they can pick up here. They are hovering the Li-Ming as a ban.
Hashtag no popping off.
Yeah, because no more of that. Sit down. To be honest... This could be kind of a tilt ban, but it also is one that makes sense, right?
Yes.
Your team was in a spot where they won the team fight if resets didn't hit, and you lose the team fight because of critical mass.
They can go Varian and Chromie if they want. What do you think?
It's darn good. I prefer Colossus Smash with Chromie. Just throwing that out there.
All right, no.
Just, a little explosion or two. But yes,
I'll bring back another hashtag. Don't you do it?
Varian Chromie is a good combination. Chromie is, I would argue, probably her second best map. Now I've seen her more on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So yes, I could see it as a mix-up for Fnatic. There's Varian. Do we get the Chrome Stir? Do we get her?
Do it.
Do it. They're going to make us wait all 19 seconds, aren't they?
Though they might just pick it last.
Ew.
Ooh.
That's an orc.
Hello.
There's an orc. Sergeant Hammer. will be the pickup here for Fnatic. You know when you're expecting a gnome and you get a tank driver instead? Here's Sergeant Hammer.
She's basically a gnome in there,
Basically.
let's be honest.
I wonder if Fnatic is tempting the playing Ducks to go for another mage here and get them, because Chromie is actually a solid counter to Sergeant Hammer. The problem is I can see a world where the playing Ducks fall into what they did last game, where they're stuck with this mage composition, and Fnatic just grabs a Nubrak.
Yeah. Now, I did a lot of... This week, I played a lot of Hammer, played a lot of the builds that these guys were doing or whatever, and tried it out. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I see you shaking your head.
Here.
That's fine. Because it's not as common anymore in Hero League, in Unranked, in anywhere, actually, apart from in that previous series that we cast. So Tychus is going to come in. I want to continue to talk about it in the Hammer, though. It's like, the auto-attack build for her is so strong. She actually does quite a lot of damage with it. And then if you do manage to get even just one kill, you then snowball so beyond hard. Because if it's 5v4, nobody's going to be saying, oh, now we need to get the Hammer. No, you just siege up freely, completely freely. So it's a terrifying prospect if you get just one kill with the comp.
And in terms of burst, it's very similar to mages with Li Ming or Chromie to a degree. You have your focus attack, auto attack into a napalm strike, and it does a substantial amount of damage. So you have your theoretical variant into Li Ming combination. It's just now with an auto attacker that can clear up and take a team fight and run with it.
If people are sitting in napalm strike, they're actually taking a lot of damage. Most people are like, okay, napalm strike, yeah, it hit me because he aimed it right at me, but I'm not stood in it because I've moved out. But if you actually are stood in it, it's a bit annoying. So I definitely agree there. Now we're just thinking for Wubby, unless he's going to play the Hammer, but it should be Shrimpy in this instance. So what would he play? Second Warrior, maybe?
Yeah, I think a second Warrior is good here. Zarya could work. I wouldn't mind seeing something a little bit more aggressive, though. There's Zarya. Okay. So Zarya, Sergeant Hammer, Varian, Malfurion, Falstad. Fnatic has Poke. My golly, they have Poke.
Yeah.
They have tons of Q buttons, actually, with Zarya and Falstad. So there we go. Whereas playing Ducks still has the same composition that they had last time, except now they have Tychus, so they have auto attack damage. Not much of a frontline burst like we saw with Jaina earlier, but more of, okay, so we can get into a fight. Here we get our engagements. We start to peel back as I throw my pin and go into Odin form.
Fine.
Yeah. Thank you for making that a little bit less awkward. You're the best, Caleris.
That's what I do.
Tychus goes into Odin form. They do have better team fight, I feel, here compared to what we had in the last game there on Cursed Hollow. But I see a world where Fnatic just constantly just berates him from afar with their hammerings, with their grenades, and just never lets him get altars, and eventually they break him.
Yeah, that definitely could be the case. I also am very scared for a team playing Ducks here. It will be difficult to break this, and then again, Fnatic is just waiting to capitalize on that one mistake. It will be one kill, and then Hammer punishes that harder than any other of the two games that we've actually seen throughout this series so far.
And the other element, too, is we started seeing playing Ducks run a little bit more aggressive plays with their portals, trying to get those pickoffs, but now Fnatic has seen it in Cursed Hollow. Let's slowly just put our hands down here and grab it. Let's go ahead and get ready for game number 3, as we'll be moving into Towers of Doom. But continuing my point here, the surprise factor of Medivh portaling in and getting aggressive plays, Fnatic's aware of it now. So let's play safer.
That's true. That is true. All right, into game number 3, and I'm sorry, I just couldn't leave my poor darling pen that you gave me so lovingly before the broadcast.
Yep.
So indeed, to the left-hand side, it will be playing Ducks here. Currently 2 games down, looking to bring it back. They've got the Medivh on their side. Can that work for them?
That is the question. To the far right, Smexy will be showing off his Malfurion once again. Breeze here with the Varian. Quackness will be showing off his Falstad, just like we saw on Cursed Hollow. Shwimpy will be the change-up, as he'll be showing off Sergeant Hammer. And Wubby will be playing Zarya.
Why did you out me? I was trying to do it stealthily to pick up the pen. And you were just like, no, not having any of that.
I had to make it a big grand moment, you know? I just want everyone to have all eyes on our hands, you know?
Yeah.
We can be hand models.
I know I couldn't. I shred my hands up. It's a bad time.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Just what are those things called? The little things that you shred down the fingernails? Get that going.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Shwimpy in the middle. The aggression starts to continue. I like that skin, by the way. Very Terran-esque from the original Brood War. Brewing into Haka. Are in the lanes immediately here. Playing Ducks continues with their strat of just getting the lanes as soon as possible. Medivh goes for a slight poke to maybe miss out on an experience or 2, but Fnatic already has 4. We'll group up down here.
Just lasering away, doing what they can. Basically, they've brought in the heavy artillery. They've got, Wubby's great, massive gun going on. They've got Shrimpy with his siege tank, as he's saying. And then they've got well, not much else than that. On the other side, of course, there is Tychus with his lovely minigun. So
you're right. They do have massive guns in this game. That's definitely the theme here with the Sergeant Hammer, the Wubby, the Tychus.
Massive guns.
Massive guns. Concussive Blast will hit Cresplosion as he sets up for a power slide on Wubby, but Schwimpy will save him. Nice job there, hitting that W button. Wubby continuing to poke here with the grenades, not allowing his opponents to jump on the mounts and rotate to different lanes. Varian and Falstad holding for now. We'll be having the Ultra Phase relatively soon. Smexy already setting up for it, though. Last time we had the Ducks play aggressively on the Giants, on the Mercs in the bottom right. Smexy preparing for that already, has set up scouting drones, just to make sure that if any aggressive play comes their way, Fnatic is aware.
I love the hashtag popping off, especially no G included in the poppin. Just kind of giving a nod to my silly English accent. Hashtag popping off.
It makes it more gangster, man. That's what we're all about here. Cresplosion goes with the power slide. Wubby will sidestep it, though, and now the team will have to retreat. 3 altars now spawning for our teams, and we are ever so close to level 4. What's interesting is this aggression from the playing Ducks is prevented from Fnatic from doing the normal EU thing, which is grab the mercenaries, get pressure in those bottom lanes, so you pull everyone down in the bottom lane. Instead, Wolf Joe has already started to channel the altar. Wubby, at the same time, is being poked away, and the playing Ducks, with this aggressive play, continues to do well in the early game.
Grab themselves first blood. That's been the continuous kind of trend that we've seen here between these two teams so far, and they got themselves 2 altars to start here, do playing Ducks. So, good beginning for them. One thing that I do want to mention is that all of those rotations overall, I mean, Malfurion, you know, scouting drone is a staple anyway for him nowadays, but it does slow things down between that bottom and the mid lane. So you've got to be careful about that and keeping eyes on things.
Nope.
Oh, no.
I feel so bad for you, man. You're literally tainted with this. Every time there's a core call.
I changed my name on Twitter. Just perpetuate the meme at this point.
Just accept it.
It's just done. It's done.
Playing Ducks continuing their aggression, having Medivh floating around looking for the mercenaries that could be grabbed from Fnatic. Fnatic will back up and instead clear the bottom lane, which can allow Playing Ducks to set up for an engaged portal here, looking at Schwimpy, but the immediate route from Smexy prevents that from occurring. Cresplosion goes for the power slide. Nande has actually rotated all the way down. The shield comes out. Can Schwimpy escape? No!
Oh.
The big tongue on Hammer.
Yeah.
Will secure a takedown.
That was brilliant by Nande. Able to get that drag on towards a target that's very fast with those thrusters coming out from Schwimpy. So a great start here for Playing Ducks. I can't really emphasize that enough, actually. With the 2 kills, bringing down this wall, which then opens up the potential for those sappers in bot lane to get the job done that EU needs them to.
This continues to be the main event here for the Playing Ducks. They always have such good early games and mid games, no matter their opponents are stacked up against, whether the best in EU or the worst in EU, if you will. The Playing Ducks always seem to have that front early game. I can't wait to see them 3 to 4 months from now, you know?
Yeah.
Putting themselves in spots where they can excel, maybe even beat these top 3. I don't know, it's just so exciting to watch the HGC and think about the possible things that can occur. 2 altars now spawning for our teams, though. 1 second here, they will pop up. 1 on the bottom, 1 here in the middle. Falstad has soaked the middle lane. Watch out for those rotations between our teams.
All right, so getting out there for the moment. Likewise, Breeze just going to slow down Sport Billy. He was waiting on the other side. Nande in a little bit of trouble. Will keep himself burrowed, and the roots are going to come down. There's Force of Will, and they're going to focus on Varian. Has gone very, very far there. Team Fnatic losing out, kill after kill. That's 3 for 0 currently. The Playing Ducks, they're flying.
The slight Tychus changes really help them out on the rotations. Oh, hang on, another root comes out. Concussive Blast does come out from Schwimpy. Now they have actual damage over sustained fights. They've been able to take out the Sergeant Hammer as well as weaken the Zarya multiple times in these fights because they have Tychus here instead of Jaina. Where Jaina's more, okay, I've dropped 2 buttons and we have to wait and reset. If the opposing team walks away, we give it up. Now they can actually chase slightly here.
Especially if you seal them into the Varian pick, right? Because he is a warrior that, unlike ETC, that you've taken away from them, unlike Tyrael, that has Eldraine's Might to get away, Varian, once he's in, he's in. He's in for the long run, and unfortunately for him, sometimes that really doesn't work out. Another steal. Great stuff by Playing Ducks. They're exerting themselves on Fnatic, and Fnatic are scrambling right now.
Yeah, Varian locked here on the side. You see the results that Clarence was just mentioning there as Breeze loses half his HP and can't do much except escape. Schwimpy will be able to help out with the fight. Falstad has rotated down at the same time. This fort is in danger of being taken away here with multiple mercenaries pushing towards that fort. Fnatic will have all hands on deck here to clear it up. Schwimpy working in auto attacks. Quacknick's looking for more. Breeze goes for the engage. The immediate Force of Will will force the Playing Ducks to walk away, and that opens up a slight window here for Fnatic to deal with the Mercs.
Yep, that's okay. That's not too bad at all. Falstad's just going to fly on away now as he barrel rolled across some terrain towards mid bell tower, and then looks just to soak wherever he can. So Fnatic is not going to get 10 anywhere near where Playing Ducks is. So this tribute, this altar should be given up in aid of some of the soak that may come down, unless of course that they're able to get a kill in the next coming moments, and then they can quite easily rival.
Yeah, the main target they want to pick off would be Brightwing here, but she's playing so safe in her fights, especially with her front line being so aggressive and having their own sustain there, with the Brog Rock and, of course, Nande having his Essence available. It's very hard for Fnatic to break down that front line until they get into the heroics. Sport really low on health. Falstad, though, Quagnix gets picked off on the right. Continued aggression from the Playing Ducks. It's kind of interesting to watch it unfold. It comes down to a power slide, and then literally everyone groups up on one target.
Yep.
So Fnatic needs to start being more aware of that and be set up to deal with that pressure that comes their way. The shields from Wubby just aren't quite enough. Luckily, when Malfurion does get 10, Twilight Dream will help out with that pressure, that mitigation of damage coming their way as they get those silences off. But for now, play safe, soak 10, 36-20. The Playing Ducks heavily ahead.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that. I mean, the thing is that you were seeing a lot of when the portals go down, roots come down instantly, but then there's not much follow-up from Fnatic. If that same situation happens post-10, then there's a lot of follow-up on towards that location when, like, 3 dive through and get rooted. As you say, in the Twilight Dream, even, you know, trying to push people out of position and stop them from going through, like Expulsion Zone afterwards to try and retreat on out. But a big dive through. Mosh Pit's going to go down. Lockdown 2. That's going to be Malfurion as well as Zarya. They're going to focus down Wubby. I'm pretty sure he's going to fall, and that's 1 for 0 already.
10 does here for Fnatic, but they've lost too many members. Smexy will use the Twilight Dream, but no major kills happening here. One lone mercenary will head towards Sergeant Hammer. She'll be able to kite it down, but that was such a massive play from the Playing Ducks. They put a portal down to look like they were going to go for the engage. They focused down the fort instead, and then when the duration of the portal was about to finish, they sneak on through, hit the leyline seal, and then move into a mosh pit. Brilliantly done. It
feels like Fnatic in the previous games have had counter potential with their damage dealers. Dahak is going very low, by the way, in mid lane. But he will just turn around there and push Breeze away with Quagnix as well.
Oh, man. Breeze power slided in, and Crystplosion will secure another takedown. Fnatic is just faltering.
Yeah, it feels like whilst in the past 2 games, Fnatic has great potential to just counter any kind of engage. In this game, with a Hammer and a Zarya as your damage, not necessarily quite as explosive as a Li Ming, and as well as a Chromie, etc., it doesn't feel like they have that counter potential. So right now, Playing Ducks is making a great case for this early game and mid game being theirs. And I don't know if Fnatic has enough to then capitalize on the late game. What do you think?
It's going to come down to Twilight Dreams. It's come down to Expulsion Zones when those portals come in and how they connect. The boss was grabbed, 36-16. Smexy will be down here to start grabbing an altar. So finally, Fnatic's getting back on the board here, and we'll drop that score down slightly here, down to 32. The comp does ramp up pretty hard for Fnatic as they get to the late game here. With Taunt now being available, all they have to do is get us 4, like against 5. Like, I mean, every time we see them in a fight, they've been picked off.
If they get to 20, I'm like, okay, yeah, they have a lot of power, I feel. But before that 13 and 16, I don't know, because Playing Ducks currently are always going to have a slight level and a half advantage unless something goes really awry. It's an interesting little game that we've got on our hands here. As Playing Ducks are very much so in the driving seat.
Fnatic just playing safe now, as they should. They have to wait out this aggression with double globals being available, the Brightwing and the Dahaka and the Medivh floating around. There's no room for them to tiptoe out of position.
They just put on the pressure, and they just throw the portal down. They don't even need to go through it.
They've done this twice.
Yeah, you don't even need to go through it. You just say, we can go through it. And then, you know, very easy bell tower being taken for them.
Yep, Fnatic is forced to respawn, reposition on that portal, and they just take away the bell tower. Now Mercenaries, once again, are easy for them to pick up. Breeze has scattered it out, but can't do too much. Falstad in the top lane, just floating around with Dahaka. Fnatic going to give this up and just kind of just lay over and wait for now. You have to wait for a moment for them to make a mistake, whether they get too aggressive, and then you set up for the Twilight Dream, or you get the Explosion Zone that you want off. It's all about patience now for Fnatic. Crystplosion goes for the power slide through Breeze. The shield will come out. Poke starts for our teams. They want to burn down this Mercenary camp.
Right, so just need to slow this down. They should be able to deny all of these going forwards, as much as Crystplosion is being a nuisance there. And even the Encore, the little amplifier knocking them back. But at least now Shrimpy's set up. They're going to try and go on towards him potentially, though. And knock him out of range. Really good by Chris.
Shrimpy will start his poke here. Now finally having the aggression, the giant killers here for Falstad and Sergeant Hammer. They can start to deal with this front line. Finally start burning him down. Crisplosion in particular. Breeze does get hit with the power slide. Will be able to retreat. Falstad still in the middle lane. A 3-altar phase has spawned here. The main priority for Fnatic is to burn down this bell tower.
And obviously Smexy here just wants to continue giving mana to Shrimpy, get those cooldowns down as well, as Malfurion, once he does innovate, will reduce those cooldowns. Want to break this down as quickly as possible. Falstad and Dahaka towards the top have been skirmishing over this for a little bit, whilst Brightwing channels the altar down towards the bottom at this triple altar phase.
Quagnix has been able to make Nande use his essence, which is good here, because if Fnatic is able to rotate in and burst him down before the adaptation finishes, they can kill off Dahaka.
And they need to do it now. They need to go now. There's level 16 before. Level 16 would be good. Sport Billy taking a lot of damage here on this left-hand side, and he might die. Oh, the grab! The
bait?
Oh, that's such a good save by Nande for Sport Billy.
Wonderful drag there. Chris on the left has popped Odin, and he will go for the engage. And if they grab both these altars, suddenly Fnatic drops down to 3 points on their core. Wubby on the left here. Chris low on HP. Sport Billy as well, but he's continuing with the portals there. Big taunt as Breeze goes in for the engage. Sergeant Hammer working in the damage at the same time. Malfurion on the left, though. Smexy in trouble.
Oh, and that's going to be Breeze pushed down as well here. They're going to go through the portal and maybe try and put on some pressure against Breeze because they don't want that altar to be channeled. It's very, very close. He tries to delay, but he will fall. That save on Sport Billy was so important up to the top left because at the time, he was at 28 of 30 Master's Touch stacks.
Another engage. Once again, big portal at the bottom. Shwimpy is going to be able to boost out. Falstad has respawned, though, and it's flowed in and used a hammering. Fnatic is attempting to hold this altar as long as they can. Shwimpy does escape to the left side. We'll be able to start Hearthstoning back. Poke continues over the wall in the top right from Zarya, slowing down this grab from Nande and Wolf Joe. Finally, Chris will get aggressive.
Yeah, just got to. Oh, Quacknick's coming in from the right-hand side with the Hammerang as well. Now just looking for another position here so he can slow one person down. Not enough. Gonna gust on towards Wolf Joe as well here. Just waiting for the entire reinforcements to come back. Nobody's channeling at the moment. Playing Ducks realizes they have to back off, knowing that they don't have the sustain against it, even though it's 16 versus 14.
Incredible hold here from Fnatic.
Oh,
They can finally start channeling this altar as Playing Ducks has retreated. So instead of being at 3, they're at 7, which can mean a lot here for our team. Suddenly you can't die to a mercenary push. You can maybe afford to lose 1 or 2 more sappers. Breeze going for an aggressive play. That Encore coming in to help out with Breeze staying away from the fight. Mercenaries grabbing the bottom left, and now we're back to a spot here where Fnatic has to make an insane comeback. They are down 21 points.
So where do you focus your attention? Falstad's going to go to soaking. We're going to see Fnatic try and push down some damage towards bot. They want to kill those 2 towers before the sappers get there, so that's very important for them on their side, of course, and also kill the other sappers alike on the other side.
Flanking.
Commandeer Odin's been used here. They're going to take this fight.
Knockback from Shwimpy does knock Nande away. Breeze is on the left side here, dodging the drag. He does dodge it. Wubby turns around. Crisplosion taking damage here. Those Giants killers really coming in to help out for Fnatic. 15 to 17. Fnatic not quite winning this fight, but looking for maybe some more poke here and there as they continue to deal with this pressure coming from the Playing Ducks. Odin finally will expire. 15.5 to 17.
When you bring out the big guns, no more big guns than like Commandeer Odin. That's one of the biggest, and they did buy themselves some time and clean up that. I think they know that they can fall back to this defense and try and push them off as long as there isn't sappers there. And that's a lot of damage going on towards Shrimpy. They're trying to gust him away, but he's going to fall anyway. That's a great pickup for Playing Ducks, who continue.
A very bold siege there. It felt like it was a bait call there from Fnatic. He sieged up, hoping to maybe get an engage, explosion zone coming out, but it didn't come out. Wubby is on the right side here. Smexy does get dragged. He's going to drop the Twilight Dream, silencing everybody, but there's no follow-up damage. The Leon Sail did miss earlier, so that's not going to be available for Fnatic to dive, but they still have their portals. Wubby and Quacknix need to be careful.
So if they get these 2 altars, the game is over. So now Fnatic has to consolidate the losses and say, how do we stay alive? The one way they stay alive is by just taking their own on their side. But Playing Ducks might focus that one. So they're going to have to buy a little bit of time here before Malfurion is available to them.
Get 16. Okay, they have it. False is in the bottom. Zarya is setting up to go ahead and continue with the poke. Yeah, Brightwing's already on the left. Just get it done.
2 people channeling. They need to use Napalm as well.
There we go. Down to 3 points here. This altar cannot go to the Playing Ducks or Fnatic will lose.
He took gravitating range. There's nothing that they can do about the hammer. They're going to put all across Remy. Oh my god! Perfect play from Playing Ducks comes out to try and stop that gravitating range from causing them problems, but Breeze is in as well here. So while they did that, they took a lot of damage to try and stop Hammer from doing stuff.
Breeze going for the full aggression here, though. Looking to get Chris. They kill Chrisix. Could work out here for Fnatic. Yes, they get 2 takedowns. Breeze on the right. Wubby here as well. Smexy helping out. It is a 3v3, but Falstad will be able to show up soon here for the 4v3. In fact, Falstad believes that they're good to go. They're going to put Falstad in the middle lane to continue the soaking, and Fnatic holds on. They hold on so well, they expect. They actually go straight for the boss.
So that gravitating range was clutch, not only to force our response from Playing Ducks, but also to get the delays. A really lovely little play coming out from Fnatic there to keep themselves alive in this game.
Claris, is it weird that I'm looking at this and I feel like Fnatic can do it? I feel like they can have the comeback.
They can. They definitely can. The one thing that they need to do now is find more picks. They need to get themselves towards level 20 because right now Playing Ducks is well on the road.
Mercenaries traded for both our teams. One on the right here for Fnatic, one on the left for the Playing Ducks. The continual fight over the bottom lane seems to be the theme of the game here, while Dahaka and Falstad hold top and middle. 19-17, the Playing Ducks well ahead here, moving towards level 20.
All right, so if they play this situation slow down towards the bottom, we could have Shrimpy just set up much safer, graduating range towards this bell tower, and then really cause. You see where he's sieged up now? It's much safer than our previous encounter. Portal, though, been laid down. Roots already there. Shields prepared.
Shields popping out. I love how Shwimpy, with the shields coming out and the root expiring, gets out of siege mode. Continuing to poke down this fort. Getting control of this will be the first time Fnatic grabs control of the map, which will be pivotal for them.
Yeah.
To be able to start grabbing control of this game. 19-18, Playing Ducks so close to 20. Ooh. Can't be picked off. Sport Billy will take the time here to scout out his opponents while Dahaka pushes top lane.
Yeah, he was trying to get some stuff done up towards the top. As Fnatic, if they can get something done mid, but again, now with that 20 about to hit, very difficult here for Fnatic to do much. They need to use the fact that this bell tower is actually a reinforceable point.
Oh, wonderful spawn here with the altar in the bottom right. This is great for Fnatic. They have their bell tower set up. As you mentioned, a great anchor for them to retreat to. Breeze is here to choke out this choke here. If ETC moves in, they can have their charge into an engage.
Good portal movement.
Playing Ducks will get behind it with the portal. Solid play. Breeze on the right. Crisplosion constantly dancing.
This still finishes the game. If Playing Ducks take this, it still finishes the game. That's going to be them trying to lock things down. Wolfjo is already channeling. Can they get on towards him? The Gust is going to buy time. Wolfjo's trying to channel, but Quagnix comes in from the right-hand side. They blow up Malfurion, though. They had to desperately try and get on towards Wolfjo to slow him down, and that's a trade already for Playing Ducks.
Quagnix is caught in the back left corner. Webby coming in for a shield, but will not be able to get it. Chris on the right side, putting damage on Sergeant Hammer. Here's Breeze as well. 3v5. Big turnaround onto Wolfjo. Force of Will comes out from Sport Billy, though. He will also use Ice Block. Shwimpy is down. Breeze and Wubby, the only two left. This is going to be game here as Wolfjo starts to channel the altar. 5 shots, so 3 shots going straight to the core. GG here as the Playing Ducks will get a win on the scoreboard.
Great play coming out from them here on Towers of Doom. Really didn't let up too much at all there against Fnatic, and that's exactly what they're going to need to do, even throughout the rest of this series. I love that they forced Fnatic into a horrible situation towards the end. All of that buying time movements with the Medivh cheats even coming out from the Leyline Seal into the Gust, then your desperation mode for Fnatic, and then you put yourself in a horrible position to then just get killed.
Yeah, and I love the slight adjustment of bringing Tygus in instead of Jaina there, allowing for them to get those sustained auto attacks done. Just a slight change up, and you can see the difference here. So let's go ahead and get ready for game number 4. Playing Ducks, get a score.
Sombra, it's on you now.
I'm all over it.
See the full animated short at playoverwatch.com.
I was once a far strider. I swore an oath to defend Silvermoon and its people to my dying breath. It was not enough. My homeland still burned. But those days are long past. And history will not repeat itself. I am Sylvanas Windrunner, Queen of the Forsaken. And if you will not serve me in this life, then you will do so in the next.
Welcome back here to the Heroes Global Championship. We're gearing up for game number 4 between our two teams, Fnatic and the Playing Ducks. Now, where are we going for our 4th map pick? We're going to Braxis Holdout. Wow, and straight into the draft.
Okay, that's interesting, because this is actually a map where I feel it could be 2-2, depending on what happens in this draft.
Yeah, it could be. So, things to note, you and I talked about it last week. Zeratul from Wubby was insane on this battleground.
Yeah, you get rid of that. The funny thing is though, because it's Braxis Holdout, there's like so many more things you have to consider, because there is things like, you know, I don't know, Zarya being so strong on shrines, Tyrael still being there, even like, what else?
Rexar, Chromie, Morales, Zul'jin. There's all these heroes that suddenly become a little bit better than what you would see on certain battlegrounds, with being a 2-lane map and wave clear, of course, being important. You're playing Ducks thinking here on what they want to ban. To note, they did pick this battleground, the Playing Ducks. So Fnatic will have first pick here.
I think you still go Zeratul. Like, I mean, as much as they did lose that game against Team Dignitas, Wubby on the Zeratul was just legendary. And I very rarely say that about a role and then moving, unless they take it. I doubt they will, but...
That was my thought process. Do they take the Zeratul? Because you leave a second and third slot for Fnatic to pick it up, but the Playing Ducks are so heavy into this this ETC pickup early. So do they get ETC in Zeratul? That feels like a weird first and second pick for me. I don't think they're going to take it, which leaves Fnatic open to grab Zeratul for themselves.
Yeah, could do. So, as you mentioned, the ETC, definitely one of my go-tos. I don't think that they go down the Zeratul. As much as they've not banned it, I think that they should go down the Zeratul path, but I don't think they do.
Yeah.
I think
the clear pickup for Playing Ducks is ETC Vala, and that's only because Vala kept getting banned out.
I think ETC Rehgar. I think they're concerned about their hero support being limited, but they're going to go Falstad. Okay.
Wow, so sport really. We will be seeing him on Falstad, which means that we probably won't be seeing any Medivh play or Zarya play. Chris can pick up Falstad if we have that alteration later, but I think with you being on the end of the rope here, you don't go too crazy.
Yeah, can, but has rarely happened, if ever happened, in HGC Europe so far. Definitely happened towards the end of 2016 as well, but not here so far, really. So Fnatic, one of these has to be a Zeratul for me. I really believe so. I guess maybe Playing Ducks is waiting with the support just to see if they need Brightwing to have Peekaboo against that. And that could be one of the reasons why we don't see that lean towards early on.
That's a good call. And then if they do have the opposing team take Zeratul, they get Brightwing, which allows them to deal with the rotation shenanigans that we saw that Dignitas had a hard time dealing with. So yeah, it's a good setup for them.
Because, I mean, ideally against that, you want a Malfurion on your side because Scouting Drone is so good against Stealthers now, or at least gives you good eyes on them. Sylvanas and Muradin. Okay, so Muradin fallen off quite a lot, and he is Breeze's 4th played tank with ETC, Tyrael, and then Varian, and then Muradin. But very rarely, I think like once during the whole of the last couple of weeks for HGC Europe.
I feel like I talk about Chromie so much in these drafts. Muradin's actually a very solid pickup against a Chromie. He can jump on the back line and sustain himself enough to where Chromie has a hard time setting up her siege potential.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we're seeing the Muradin here on this battleground in particular. Because he can put False in the top lane, he can handle that top lane well, and then you have Chromie in the bottom lane, you have your poke shenanigans, but Muradin is enough of a deterrent to make you think, okay, do I actually want to go into this? So Muradin, Sylvanas, Malfurion in the pickups, great strong early laners. Something else to think about too for the playing Ducks is they could go Gul'dan as well. Just have Falsus at top lane, just mitigate the beacon. You don't have to control it.
Yeah.
And then have your wave clear in the bottom and control there. Chromie is being highlighted as a ban here for the playing Ducks.
If you think about the allocation of what heroes Chris may play on this map, you're thinking Valor, Leeming, Tychus, and then in brackets, it's like, okay, Chromie could be a thing, but as you say, Gul'dan could be a thing. So I wouldn't mind seeing a Gul'dan from him later. As the thing is, with Sylvanas, I don't know if Fnatic would go Hammer again.
With Sergeant or with Sylvanas?
Yeah, it's a bit much, but they're crazy enough to do it.
Yeah, you could be in trouble with your rotations. We'll see here. Fnatic now looking at their ban. I think the 2 bans for me are either Vala or Gul'dan if I'm thinking about the playing Ducks. I don't mind if Tychus goes through, even though Tychus can be quite murderous against Muradin, if I have the appropriate damage.
Actually, I think they might go Hammer. If you think about Fnatic versus Dignitas, oh no, it was Dignitas that went Sylvanas Hammer, not Fnatic that went Sylvanas Hammer, because that was the one where they had the Jaina Zeratul. So, It's a comp that technically worked for Dignitas, but only because it was a silly Kylaris core. So, yeah.
Well, Fnatic will ban out Zarya here, which makes me think they assumed that Falstad could go over to Chris and Sportplay would pull it out. 3rd and 4th pick now floating around here for the playing Ducks. Do you go Gul'dan, Oriel?
I think they probably want Tychus more.
For that Muradin?
Although, that being said...
I just think if you go Tychus, Rhaegar, well, you have decent wave clear, you don't have control. And with you having Falstad, you want to have control in the bottom lane. Because he's not going to win every single lane. He's a great early DPS, but he scales later.
I see where you kind of... In this draft, you would slightly get away with the fact that you could go Oriel because Chromie is banned, if you know what I mean. But I don't know if they do it.
Zul'jin's the other option. You just need a strong bottom laner. Vala is still available too for the playing Ducks, so you can do Vala.
If there was going to be any wild support coming out from them, it would be Medic, I feel, for playing Ducks. Gul'dan and Oriel. All right, no, never mind. Trixler's a god. That's fine.
Well, it's just the Falstad pick that really just kind of scares me. Like, if they went Vala, Rhaegar, I just feel like Muradin would just push in that bottom lane so hard.
I'm pretty sure this is Wolfjo's first Oriel in the tournament.
Sick.
In the league.
I don't know off the top of my head if that's true or not, but I'm going to go with it and say yes.
If it's definitely the only one in the last 3 weeks, from what I can tell.
Definitely.
So...
So, Oriel, positioning will need to be safe, but luckily with being a 2-lane map, as long as you rotate with your team, you should be fine. One of the battlegrounds where Oriel doesn't have too much of a problem with flanks unless you start losing the game early. But with having Gul'dan there to supplement your push, for the most part, you should never lose control of that bottom lane unless your tank gets picked off. So EGC will need to be careful. Looking over to Fnatic, we have Muradin, Malfurion, Sylvanas. I need maybe a little more damage here. Sergeant Hammer could work out. You want to have some range to deal with that Gul'dan that's coming your way. In terms of top laner, though, do we just get
Give me a Ragnaros.
Hammer Thrall?
Jaina and Zeratul.
Okay. Wow.
This is kind of what I was a little bit scared of.
So we're going to play the rotation game. That will be the name in the game here for Fnatic. Jaina here for the wave clear. Sylvanas here for the empowered pushing of the Zerg wave if you do control the beacons. Muradin gets a little bit more rotation here to help out Wilby whenever things might go awry. The playing Ducks now have ETC, they have their Falstad, so they have decent top lane, they have solid engage in the bottom lane. I
either want a second warrior or Ragnaros. Or Thrall for Earthquake to slow down the potential of Jaina getting into a good spot to actually land a combo. The thing is that, you know, Ragnaros actually is... he's poor little guy. I'm so sad Ragnaros, he's fallen off. I don't know why. He is really strong on this map. You've got so many locations where you can Molten Core and reach a good chunk of the map. We mentioned it in the previous weeks.
I feel like something weird's coming.
It's Nande. What are you going to do, Nande? Where are we going?
Because Falstad will have to sit in the bottom lane with Gul'dan, which will be weird. It's Samuro. Wow. Okay, wow. That is weird. I just couldn't figure out where you would place everyone here. Now, so Samuro suddenly the pickup here. For the playing Ducks, he has his own stealth form, can kind of match against the Zeratul there, as he's able to go into Cloak. I haven't played Samuro in a few weeks now. I'm trying to figure... Yeah, that's what my brain's doing. I'm trying to wrap my head around what he brings here. I think the idea is they want to have some form of matching power against what Wubby did last week against Dignitas in terms of being able to do the rotations. He also does beat Zeratul in the fight straight up due to having the mirror image, but it is an odd pick here for that 5th pick. That's for sure.
They have to have faith in it. It's our first Samuro in HGC Europe.
Yeah, it is.
They have to have faith in it because this is what's trying to keep them alive in this series. That's very interesting.
It's a bold move. I think now you have Samuro that can be kind of the counter jungler /
I guess
follow around Zeratul. And then when you find Zeratul and you get the engage that you want, Falstad flies in, and now you can actually handle that Zeratul because you have the rotation. So it lights up a little bit for me. It comes down to comms, and it comes down to Samuro being on point with his movement. But it's definitely a weird pick. Remember, he did have damage nerfs, gosh, months ago.
A few times.
Like. Yes. he fell off a little bit here.
Yeah.
But, oh man, suddenly Illusion Master jumps in my brain. You can drop down Illusion Master and suddenly have rotation set up so you can jump around the map and you can actually handle the Zeratul. I think I actually like it. The more I think about it, it's all about controlling.
I still want Blade Storm. Like, it's great.
Just spin in circles.
When I first watched Blade Storm, I thought to myself, is that making the little BattleNet symbol inside it? Like, I don't know if you've ever watched it, but I thought there would have been a cool thing where they could like have an Easter egg where it shows like a little BattleNet symbol.
You're the guy that watches Clouds and it's like, that's a Pikachu. That's definitely sponsored by Nintendo right now.
I do that.
Yeah, it's definitely you. Okay, I'm ready for this, actually. I'm very excited for this. Let's go ahead and do it. Game number 4 here. Playing Ducks trying to tie up the series here as they are behind 2-1 against Fnatic.
What a draft.
What a draft.
What a way to end it. You know what's weird? You know what's this really weird thing? Everyone's like, oh, I wonder what happens when Diva comes into this universe. And then she's like, she plays StarCraft, so how would she interact with the StarCraft characters? ETC is the embodiment of a band that Samuro is the lead singer of. There you go.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Samuro sings?
Yes, really.
You know way too much lore. Here on the right side, Fnatic in the red. It's going to be Breeze and crew. My director had to go, how do you not know that, Tim? Jesus, call me out in my ear. Nonetheless here, we're going to be having a band member versing against Fnatic over here on the right side. We'll be keeping our eye on Wubby, as his rotations as Zeratul was godlike the last time we saw him on Braxis Holdout. So playing Ducks will have to keep him in check, and it feels like Samuro might be the way to go.
It was truly brutal to deal with, and they're going to try and put on some pressure towards the tower. That being said, Nande on this Monkey King skin here for Samuro is going to launch his illusions forwards. As what is he starting things off? Way of Illusion. I enjoy this talent a little bit, but it's not my favorite.
It's pretty good in lanes, as you're able to get a few auto attacks here and there, and you can eventually get your damage built up. Not a bad pickup here for Nande, as he'll be continuing his rotations. Now, oddly enough, we have 4 on the top lane for Fnatic, as they try to surprise their opponents, maybe snipe down a turret or 2. However, the playing Ducks in the early game did catch it.
All right, something weird is going on in this game, because Pursuit of Flame is literally very rarely, if ever, taken in Europe. So we're having Gul'dan going for that build to start off with a Samuro. This is weird, but interesting, very interesting.
Oddly enough, in my meta that I've built by myself,
Please.
I run the Q build on Gul'dan. It's strengths. Oh, hang on real quick as we continue our aggression here. Sports Billy will jump on top of the Malfurion and take him out.
First blood. So
First blood.
Again, playing Ducks is sort of seizing the control here at the beginning of this game, and if they're able to do as well as they did last game, this could quite easily go to a game 5.
That it could. We'll see how it shakes out here in game number 1. Just, again, a quick note on that Q build here for Golden.
Yes.
Wonderful for wave clear.
Yes.
Solid for